Hello everyone, now let us discuss about Good Manufacturing Practice Guide for Active Pharmaceutical Ingredients, Part 11. This comes under Q7 Quality Guideline of ICH. Here we will be discussing about complaints and recalls. This is a continuation of Part 10. All the quality related complaints, whether received orally or in writing, should be recorded and investigated according to the written procedure. Complaint record should include name and address of the complainant, name and phone number of the person submitting the complaint, complaint nature, including the name and batch number of the API, date complaint is received, action taken, including the dates and identity of person taking the action, any follow-up action taken, response provided to the originator of the complaint, including the date response sent, and final decision on intermediate or API batch or lot. Records of complaints should be retained in order to evaluate trends, product-related frequencies, and severity with a view to taking additional and, if appropriate, immediate corrective action. There should be a written procedure that defines the circumstances under which a recall of an intermediate or API should be considered. The recall procedure should designate who should be involved in evaluating the information and how a recall should be initiated, who should be informed about the recall, and how the recalled material should be treated. All this information must be present in the recall procedure. In the event of a serious or potentially life-threatening situation, local, national, and or international authorities should be informed and their advice should be sought. Next topic is contract manufacturers, including the laboratories. All the contract manufacturers, including the laboratories, should comply with the GMP defined in this guide. Special consideration should be given to the prevention of cross-contamination and to maintaining traceability. Contract manufacturers, including the laboratories, should be evaluated by the contract giver to ensure GMP compliance of the specific operations occurring at the contract sites. And there should be a written and approved contract or formal agreement between the contract giver and the contract acceptor that defines in detail the GMP responsibilities, including the quality measures of each party. The contract should permit the contract giver to audit the contract acceptor's facilities for compliance with GMP. Where subcontracting is allowed, the contract acceptor should not pass to the third party any of the work entrusted to him under the contract without the contract giver's prior evaluation and approval of the agreements. So contract acceptor can give subcontract, but he is not. When subcontracting is allowed, the contract acceptor should not pass to the third party any of the work entrusted to him under the contract without the contract giver prior evaluation and approval. The contract giver should approve the subcontracting. Then only contract acceptor can allow the third party. Manufacturing and laboratory records should be kept at the site where the activity occurs and be readily available. Changes in the process, equipment, test methods, specifications, or other contractual requirements should not be made unless the contract giver is informed and approves the changes. Next are agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers, and relabelers. This section applies to any party other than the original manufacturer who may trade and or take possession, repack, relabel, manipulate, distribute, or store an API or intermediate. All agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers, and relabelers should comply with GMP as defined in this guide. Next is traceability of distributed APIs and intermediates. Agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers, or relabelers should maintain complete traceability of APIs and intermediates that they distribute. Documents that should be retained and available include identity of the original manufacturer, address of the original manufacturer, purchase orders, bills of lading, transportation documentation, receipt documents, name or designation of API or intermediate, manufacturer's batch number, transportation and distribution records, all authentic certificates of analysis, including those of original manufacturer, retest or expiry date. Next, coming to quality management. Agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers, and relabelers should establish, document, and implement an effective system of managing the quality. Coming to repacking, relabeling, and holding of APIs and intermediates. Repacking, relabeling, and holding of APIs and intermediates should be performed under appropriate GMP controls as stipulated in this guide to avoid mix-up and loss of API or intermediate identity or purity. Repacking should be conducted under appropriate environmental conditions to avoid contamination and cross-contamination. Coming to stability. Stability studies to justify assigned expiration or retest date should be conducted if the API or intermediate is repacked in a different type of container other than that used by the API or intermediate manufacturer. Coming to transfer of information. Agents, brokers, distributors, repackers or relabelers should transfer all quality or regulatory information received from an API or intermediate manufacturer to the customer and from the customer to the API or intermediate manufacturer. The agent, broker, trader, distributor or repacker or relabeler who supplies the APIs or intermediates to the customer should provide the name of the original API or intermediate manufacturer and the batch number supplied. And they should also provide the identity of the original API or intermediate manufacturer to regulatory authorities upon request. The original manufacturer can respond to the regulatory authorities directly or through its authorized agents, depending upon the legal relationship between the authorized agents and the original API or intermediate manufacturer. In this context, authorized refers to authorized by the manufacturer. Specific guidelines for certificate of analysis should be met. Coming to handling of complaints and recalls. Agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers or relabelers should maintain records of complaints and recalls for all the complaints and recalls that come to their attention. If the situation warrants, they should review the complaint with the original API or intermediate manufacturer in order to determine whether any further action, either with other customers who may have received this API or intermediate or with the regulatory authorities or both, should be initiated. The investigation in this cause for the complaint or recall should be conducted and documented by the appropriate party. When a complaint is referred to original API or intermediate manufacturer, the record maintained by the agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers or relabelers should include any response received from the original API or intermediate manufacturer, including the date and information provided. Coming to handling of returns. Returns should be handled by maintaining records of returned intermediates or APIs. For each return, documentation should include name and address of the co-signee, intermediate or API batch number, quantity returned, reason for the return, use or disposal of the returned intermediate or API. The agents, brokers, traders, distributors, repackers or relabelers should maintain documentation of returned API and intermediates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for further videos on pharmaceutical sciences and other related disciplines.